Hi, darling.
Hey, honey.
What are we doing today?
We're sailing, and I'm meant to be on a lookout for logs, but I have to get proof of residency so that I can apply at the tax office. And I don't have a proof of address because I live on a boat, so it's proving to be a little complicated.
Okay. So we left Grado this morning. Really enjoyed Grado, nice place to be. We've been going into the wind, and there's quite a big swell from a very big storm yesterday, but tomorrow's storm is a monster, so this was our opportunity to get to our winter parking spot. It's quite rock and roll today. I think these are the biggest swells we've been sailing in. Of course, now that I've got the camera out, they seem to have vanished, on the camera at least. But yeah, not the most comfortable of our last sail for the year. We're using about 1 kilowatt of power. Fortunately, the sun is shining, so we're putting that one back in. But there is cloud predicted, so we're going to try and keep the battery full as long as possible, so when the cloud comes, we can make our way there. Whoa! It's a bit like a roller coaster today. We're not going very fast at the moment, just 3.1, 3.2 knots. With 1 kilowatt we should be doing about 4 knots, but we've got a headwind of, you can't see it there, of about 8 or 9 knots. Yeah, it's going to be a slower trip than usual. So we are finally getting the conditions that were forecast. So the wind in the nose is still there, but it's dropped down a little bit. The sea state is much calmer, which is great. So it's turning into a nice day as well. On the motors, I've got about 950 watts going into the motor, so just under 1 kilowatt. We're doing 3.13 knots at the moment. Okay, headwind has actually come back 6, 7, 8 knots again. But it is a lovely day, and I am actually charging the batteries again now at about 600 watts. So I could go a bit fast if I wanted to, but because there's cloud predicted for the afternoon, I'm just going to let the batteries charge and fill up. But yeah, very, very nice glow of the sun out there, as you can see. It's quite lovely. There's a lot of debris in the water from the storm we had a couple of nights ago, so I've got to keep a good watch on that. But other than that, it's very pleasant. The most comfortable spot on the boat is actually where my wife is right now. Hi, honey.
Hi, sweetie.
Are you comfy there?
I'm happy.
And it's also where I stand in the middle here for doing my watches, which is very nice. You get a good view all around. Yeah, it's a very easy boat to sail and watch, as you can see. From basically inside the saloon, you get a 360-degree view. It's also the most stable part of the boat, and at the moment it's nice and warm, even though it's pretty chilly out. Candace, what day is it today?
The 1st of November.
1st of November. Why is that significant?
Well, we had just immigrated, and it was exactly a year since I saw the boat for the first time.
Wow! Can you believe that's the same boat that you saw?
I can't believe it's the same husband.
What do you mean by that?
It was certainly a shock, I must say. It was a big, big shock. I mean, I was excited, but I was very intimidated because our boat was in quite a state, and having no experience, I wasn't too sure if we could get it to a livable state. And
we did. It just took, 8 months of hard work?
8 months of very, very hard work under crazy cold conditions.
That also means that we've been living on board then for 4 months.
Yeah.
And we've sailed from the southern tip of Istria, Pula, all the way to Venice, back to Slovenia, to a place I can't remember, and then near Koper, and then we spent some time in a marina in, where were we?
Monfalcone.
That's right. And we finished up with 2 weeks in my favorite place for the whole trip, which was
Grado.
Grado is brilliant, and we were moored in the town pier, basically right in the middle of town, which was lovely. And now we are on our way over there. Let's see if I can zoom in and show you Lignano. And we're going to go just past Lignano to a place called Aprilia Maritima. And as I was saying, there are lots and lots of logs and debris in the water. This one over here is so big, a seagulls decided to chill out on it for a little while. Let's see if we can zoom in on our friendly seagull. Yeah, definitely got to keep your eyes forward. A little bit of rock and roll, and the wind on the nose has increased to 8 knots, but we are doing 3.2 knots at the moment on 1 kilowatt power. But there goes the seagull who's decided to leave his little log. A very big boat crossing our paths. He's got right of way at the moment. If I had the sails out it would be different, but at the moment he was coming from my right, so I need to go behind him, which is what I've just changed direction slightly to do. There's a tugboat over there towing something. We saw it earlier, but I have no idea what it's up to actually. Some side-ons well. As I zoomed in, that's going to make for a really shaky video. Let's zoom back out. What is going on there? Closer now. It's definitely towing something very large. Just don't know what it is. Sorry, it's a little bit shaky for this type of zoom. It's much better at this level. So it's just gone 12 o'clock. Something interesting in the water there. At the moment we're doing 3.5 knots. I've got 1,000 watts going into the motor, which is 960 watts going into the motor. We're charging at 500 watts, which is very nice. So we're pulling in about 1,500 watts of power at the moment. Candace looks like she's eating some delicious chocolate protein pudding. And I think we've got about a couple of hours, maybe 2.5 hours to get to our destination. What is that thing floating in the water? Can you start the cues? Those look small. It looks like a buoy, so it's hard to focus on it.
Patrick, what are you doing?
Filming.
What are you filming for?
Filming for my family. That's where we're going. We can all see the town of Lignano Sabbiadoro. I think I got that partially right at least. I'll try and learn the name for a while when I get there. Okay. That's red. It's gone into a bit of shade. That's better. Going along quite nicely. It's starting to cloud over, so we're in shade, so it was a good thing that I didn't increase the power of the motor. We're still doing about 1 kilowatt. This is what 1 kilowatt looks like on these motors. Let's see if I can get it zoomed in a little bit more. 1 kilowatt on the motors, they're purring away really nicely. Nice and quiet. That little wave at the back is the noisiest thing that you hear. You don't hear the engines at all. But yeah, we've probably got about maybe 2 hours to go until we're there. sailboat, probably going into the exact same area we're going. Both of us have a 7-knot headwind, so there's no point in putting sails up at the moment. The only difference is I'm running on free electricity, and I suppose they've got their diesel going, but they should be a little bit faster than me. I don't know if they are. Obviously I could put more power in now that we're that close, but I'm just going to keep my power in case there's nowhere to there's nowhere to plug in tonight, and we know that tomorrow is some horrible weather. Poodles and wife, we've got about an hour to go. Well, no, sorry, we've got 2 hours to go. In 1 hour we turn into the lagoon, and then we've got an hour inside the lagoon. What are you up to?
I am shopping online for a present for my mum.
Oh, that's very nice. That's one of the things that's worked very well, I think, on our trip is our Starlink.
Super well.
I don't think we've ever been at sea and not had connection. The only time we lose connection is when the rain is quite heavy and we're in a marina. I think when you're at sea, even with the rain, it sort of flows off the deck and it doesn't stop at all. But yeah, Starlink has been brilliant. It's worked every single mile we've sailed. Your mobile signal comes and goes, but we always have broadband on the boat, which is brilliant. I will take you inside the boat and I can show you where the Starlink is mounted. That there is our little Starlink dish, and it's working wonderfully. Excuse the mess in the cupboard. Well, we are arriving in Caorle. Sorry, not Caorle, Lignano. So we need to go through that gap over there. But I suspect there's some very shallow water between us and them, because the charts have us going straight on for another probably about half a kilometre to a kilometre, and then we turn right and we're going to go past into there. I've anchored once in there before in very, very shallow water. I'll try and show you the spot when we get closer. Up ahead you can see the channel markers where we need to go in. The water's quite shallow, so you need to keep an eye on these things. The sun is completely gone, it's behind the clouds now, but fortunately our solar panels are still sucking in about 650 watts of power, which is pretty good. Motors are still pulling 960, which is what I've pretty much left them on all day, so the batteries are nearly full, so even though we're draining them now, there's no harm. We'll have plenty of power left when we get there. The wind has also come from the side now, so we're doing 4 knots, which is what I would expect to be doing on a kilowatt of power. Alright, I need to put the camera down and I need to turn right, and it's going to be tight steering, so I might not film for a little while. So something very cute is that every single post I've gone past has had its own seagull sitting on top. As well. The next one down there, and the previous one as well, and it looks like that one too, but I can't see because it's too far. Anyway, this is Lignano over here. It looks like a lot of big buildings. I see one little house sticking out in the middle there, which looks quite cute. And the water's very shallow here. We're in 3 meters of water. We're also going into a current because the tide is on its way out. So it's going to be quite slow going until we get through the gap. So we are moving very slowly, about 1.5 kilowatts of power going into the motors, but I think we're going into a 2 or 3 knot current. You can see almost standing waves. It looks like there's a big river flowing against us, and I suspect it's going from the one island over there, or the one piece of mainland, to the other, and so this whole lagoon is draining out at the moment. I knew it would be draining out by the time we got here, but yeah, it's one of those things we had to live with to try and make the most of the sunshine on the trip and the good weather on the trip. But hopefully we're through the gap soon, and the tide should disappear, and then we can move faster again. At the moment we are draining a fair amount of battery and not going very fast. Nothing to worry about, of course, but we do want to have some battery for cooking and things like that tonight. fishing boat going past. We've seen a few of their flags out. Double black flag. We might be going to go and collect a few more. He's got the current behind him, so he is absolutely flying. Good spot to see how strong the current is. We've got standing waves there like it's a river. Now pushing against it. We're probably doing about 2 knots. We should be doing 5 at this power level. So I have been in this area before. The last time I was here, we anchored where you can see these boats over here. And that was the night of the most mosquitoes I've ever seen in my life. It sounded like a chainsaw inside the boat when they were bouncing against the plastic ceiling. And we only spent 1 night here. The town itself was quite nice. But yeah, the mosquitoes were outrageous, and I had to vacuum them up. It was quite something. So aside from mosquitoes, it was actually a really nice place to anchor. It's very calm, it's very shallow, so it was very easy to get good holding. And we took our dinghy into the town, turning around that way. Took our dinghy into the town over there, and the town was really very nice. But yeah, don't recommend it during mosquito season. Now I'll find some street signs to tell us where to go. So we are going to the top one, Aprilia Maritima. Well, that's where we came from. We went through the gap, and now we are going past the other side of Legnano. I'm in very shallow water. It's only about 2 meters, so I will need to go and steer carefully. And get back there. Something I've never seen before is what looks like, I don't know if it's a fish farm or something. There's a big ring of sticks in the ground. I suppose you could have things living inside it and catch them when you need them. Very interesting. Not growing up around water, I don't know a lot about this. Grew up in Joburg, Pretoria and Joburg, so completely landlocked for the first 40 odd years of my life.
Thank you.
Okay. This is Aprilia Maritima. We have just arrived. Candice is going to put the fenders out for us. But we've got to find a spot to tie up. It sounds like we're tying up at the field dock tonight because it's a national holiday in Italy. And then let's get out the water tomorrow as early as possible is what I'm hoping for, because there's a scary storm throughout the Med. We're using about 1 kilowatt, doing about, what does it say, 2.9 knots at the moment, because I seem to live with a headwind my entire life usually. I'm always sailing into the head, oh, not sailing, motoring into the wind, and into the current wherever I can find one. Although I do try and plan it, but once I'm ready I don't feel like waiting for the tide to turn, so we just tend to get going. And that's Aprilia. New place to live for the next couple of weeks. We'll take the boat out the water tomorrow, get it winterized because I think it does drop below freezing here, so I need to sort out the water maker. I need to put some antifreeze into that, which pickles it and stops it from freezing up. Drain all the tanks, drain all the pipes, make sure the pumps are empty, running on air, so that the boat will be good for the winter. I also need to reseal my sunbrella material. There's a bit of a leak in that side, so I need to get some of that ordered on Amazon today, and then we should be good until springtime. I think we get back here in March or April, get back on the boat again. Looking forward to it. Going past a big steel boat that's tied up here. The water is very shallow. I've got a meter underneath the depth sensor, which I'm not sure is in the deepest part of the boat. It's close, but it's not quite the deepest. So I need to keep an eye on things. And we've arrived. So 16.6 nautical miles today, just over 30 kilometers, 31 kilometers. And we are here. Coming in was quite interesting. There was a huge amount of bird life. Obviously it's not the prettiest place at the moment, but we had I don't know what you call a flock of swans. Oh, there's a couple of swans at the moment. Let's have a look. Get those into view. There seem to be swans all over the show. Apparently they always travel in pairs. And quite ironically, we're getting lifted tomorrow. Today's a public holiday, so they've told us to tie up at the fuel dock. And if there's anything this boat doesn't need, it's fuel. It's I've been very impressed with electric motors. I think it is an absolutely brilliant solution for a sailboat, particularly one like this that's got a good amount of space for solar panels. But yeah, pretty much any boat, if you can put up a solar arch on the back of your boat, you don't need diesel engines. And I can hear the poodles barking, so it means Candace must be back. Not sure where they are. Anyway, thanks for coming along for our final trip of the year, and I'll keep making videos because I'm behind on a lot of the videos, especially the build videos. There will be more to see. Ciao.